Hi everybody, it's me Albatross again. As promised, I am here with the first segment, diagnosing some of these legal documents against Riverside County Social Services in California. And just a disclaimer, I have never actually been to this place. I don't have associations with them. I don't even think I've ever been to California except for maybe at an airport. So, with that being said, and also trigger warning to anybody, it might get a little disturbing, some of the stuff in here. I mean, it might be, it's a little boring at first, but I mean, I gotta lay down the background just a little bit. And then I'm gonna explain why this is so significant. Specifically to all the children. Not just at this place, but at all of CPS. Because according to this report, this is not an isolated thing that happens just here. According to this report, this is a common occurrence among CPS. Among CPS throughout the whole nation. So, yeah, anyways, here we go. So, oh yeah, a little bit of background. In the wake of, like, a lot of things that happened, and also those kids, those Turpin kids, a lot of things. In September 2018, the director of this place stepped down, and they launched an investigation. This is their report. And just so you know, the director who stepped down in September of 2018 because of all these horrible incidents, she, had no repercussions, no consequences other than losing her job. But guess what? She didn't lose her job for very long. She's now the executive director of California Citrus State Historic Park. Wherever that is, must be nice. Anyway. Okay. And since it's been on my screen, I'm going to let you guys can go back and pause and read all those first paragraphs. I've read it a bunch of times when I was trying to block out all those words that YouTube doesn't like. But if you want to read it yourselves, it's very easy to find on Google, and you can read it with all those, words that YouTube hates. Okay. So, this is basically explaining that Riverside County made several improvements since late 2019 to the county's children's service divisions, including leadership changes and a shift in culture toward greater accountability and safer practices and outcomes. And they're basically saying they're investigating to make sure they're holding true to this statement. Therefore, the major points of interest we examined in our investigation and in interviews were as follows. Warrant for removal processes, use of structured decision-making, staffing procedures to promote an investigation, to seek guidance, and to make appropriate decisions to protect children, and caseload managements. In this report, the grand jury provides recommendations to address its findings in each of these areas. Yeah, so that's what they wanted to provide recommendations for these things, basically, has nothing to do with really protecting children from abuse. I'm sorry, YouTube, protecting children from, harm, things like that. It has nothing to do with that. It's all about them, basically. It's weird. It's like a systemic narcissism. It's like all about them, but they didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know. Anyway. A look into historical perspectives included certain reports which were important to our understanding of how CPS has evolved over the past decade. Those reports are summarized in the background section, which follows. And it gets a little disturbing after we get through the first part of the background, and we don't even really need to read anything. They don't really say much in here. Like I said, you can always pause and read it if you want. They don't really say much in this part, but here, we'll go through the background real quick. Okay. The mission of Riverside County's Department of Public Social Services is to, quote, support and improve the health, safety, well-being, and independence of our county's individuals and families. DPSS develops and executes programs and policies in accordance with many state and federal laws to protect the most vulnerable members of our community, which are the aged, the developmentally disabled, and the children. Riverside County's Children's Services Division is a major component of DPSS and is generally known as CPS. Working under strict adherence to numerous state mandates and a myriad of other statutory or legislative regulations, CPS has evolved over decades as the county's principal agent for protecting children from harm, neglect, and loss of life. I'm going to use harm instead of that word, the one that's blocked out. Riverside County CPS has a total staff of over 1,100 employees with nearly 600 social workers. I know there's a lot to any place, but that's like only half. I don't know. That's a little strange, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I've never worked in a social services before, but anyways, okay. And these social workers are also known as social services practitioners, abbreviated SSP. There are 3 levels of SSPs: SSP1, SSP2, and SSP3. And SSP3, the star there, it's got a definition here at the bottom of the page, which is, never mind. Okay. Basically, they're the ones that they're like, the ones that are directly overseeing the cases, I think, from what I've gotten out of it. Okay. These are highly educated, trained professionals who have an essential duty to act. In interviews, these workers express a sincere and genuine desire to ensure it's done right, despite the disquieting press reporting and overwhelming workloads. And I just want to back up right here, because it's really pissed me off the first time I read it. I'm sorry, but like it just really pissed me off the first time I read it, because like disquieting press reporting, excuse me, children actually died. Like, you know, you can sit there and say they elaborated the facts all you want, but at the end of the day, that's what matters, that there are children who died in, like, when CPS is directly linked and responsible to these. Sorry, YouTube, I'm new to this, saying these bad words. I'm going to do my best to try not to. Linked to these unalivings. And just to sit there and, like, make, like, our inquiries and anger towards this affiliated with the press is just insulting. It really is. It's insulting. Okay, but and it's not just that. It's also their overwhelming workloads, too. Let's not forget that. Okay, and I'm going to skip this part. Like I said, you can pause and read if you want. Okay, here's where all heck breaks loose. During this period, DPSS CSD appeared to be in a state of turmoil under a high degree of scrutiny. Well-deserved scrutiny. The department underwent major leadership changes at the top of the organization. Yeah, they got that bitch the heck out of there. Susan von Zebern. I think that's how you pronounce her name. The one who works at California Citrus State Historic Park. Which would have been attributed to these 2 significant cases resulting from the department's failure to protecting children from harm. Okay, and like I said, trigger warning, this gets a little disturbing. March 2017, a 3-year-old suffered severe neglect and reportedly was found in a filthy home hugging her unalived infant sibling. CPS had failed to act. Reportedly, a $1.375 million settlement was reached. This is all in the same year. November 2017. A 13-year-old girl suffered repeated sexual abuse, harm, and rape She was impregnated by her mother's live-in boyfriend. Oh my God. CPS failed to protect her. Okay, finally an honest statement. According to this great victim's attorney, she was awarded $10 million. And that won't even begin to... I mean, people don't understand that, like, that's sometimes the only justice you can get. And sometimes it's the only means when you're that messed up from things like that. You can barely make a living. These things affect you every day. Just daily living, daily activities of daily living. That's what a lot of people don't understand when they're accusing people of cash grabs. It's like they need that money. Like, they need it. If anything, to get help that they need, because no one wants to even look at you if you don't got money. It's just the way our world is. Okay. All right, here we go. In these cases, the complaints allege that the social workers repeatedly visited the homes of the victims, but failed to stop the harm and close the investigations prematurely. They also allege that the workers were negligent and in violation of the Child Harm and Neglect Reporting Act. The Child Harm and Neglect Reporting Act, passed in 1980, amendments expanded the definition of child harm and the persons required to report. In California, certain professionals are required to report known or suspected child harm. Okay. September 2018, and this is when that bitch gets the heck out of here. Riverside County's Director of Child... They don't even mention her by name, but I will. Susan Von Zabern, Zabern, who works at California Citrus State Historic Park. Yeah, I'm going to hold you accountable if no one else does. Sorry. Get over it. Okay. Yeah. Her, Susan Von Zabern, Director of the Child Services Division, resigned amidst these civil cases and allegations of continued severe child harm, even after CPS had finished their investigations. Subsequently, the Riverside County's Executive Office hired an outside expert in Child and Family Services to conduct a review of the Riverside County's Department of Public Services, Child Services, and the report, which is an external review analysis and process improvement, which was published in October 2019. And it states the purpose of the review was to perform a root cause analysis for CSD-related claims and lawsuits and institute actions resulting in safer and improved outcomes for children, and offer advice and counsel to the County Counsel's Office and CSD. The findings and recommendations are briefly outlined in the investigation section. And let's see. Okay, yeah, and we get into some more. I'm going to read a couple more of these cases, and then I'm going to have to finish this part of this. 17-year-old female was a foster child with disabilities. She unalived on April 6, 2019. The foster home's owner faced second-degree unaliving charge for her unaliving. Riverside County CPS effectively signed her unaliving warrant by placing her in a foster home dogged by decades of complaints. Whew. Decades of complaints. Okay, I'm sorry. This stuff just really gets to me. According to this report, the California State Department of Social Services conducted an investigation and found that the foster home neglected to obtain emergency medical care in a timely manner. Okay, and here's another one. 8-year-old boy, last seen alive March 2019. Was born with a birth defect called, oh my gosh, bladder extra. Oh my gosh, Lord help me with my pronunciation tonight. I'm going to skip that word. His bladder was on the outside of his body, and he had problems controlling his bladder. His body has yet to be found. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. It's just, he was 8 years old. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop for tonight. I'll get back to this later. Thanks for listening.